You're under a dark, cramped sink, hands covered in grime, wrestling with a stripped pipe fitting, and right out of reach, your phone starts buzzing. Letting it go to voicemail feels like a minor annoyance in the moment, but that single, unanswered ring represents the most expensive, recurring failure point in local home services. This specific bottleneck caps growth for thousands of Florida-based HVAC, plumbing, electrical, and roofing businesses, particularly operations where the owner acts as the primary dispatcher. It creates a cycle known as the phone tag trap. An urgent customer gets sent to voicemail, you try to call them back hours later, and the resulting chaos leads to double-booked crews and frustrated clients. The operational math here is rigid. You cannot perform heavy physical labor and run a responsive front desk at the same time. Yet for most small operators, hiring a full-time round-the-clock administrative staff costs too much to justify. That constant friction, trying to execute the physical work while simultaneously capturing new customer intake, acts as a hard ceiling on a local trade business's growth. To understand exactly how much that ceiling costs, we have to move off the job site and look at an industry metric called speed to lead. For a busy tradesperson actively working in the field, the baseline response time to a new inquiry averages around 3 hours. 3 hours might feel reasonable when you're waist-deep in a repair, but modern consumers, especially those dealing with a broken AC or a leak, expect instant communication. This chart maps lead conversion probabilities. If a prospect doesn't hear back within 5 minutes, the likelihood of converting them drops by 80%. Because 68% of trades miss this window, the financial drain over a year averages a $47,000 revenue leak. This specific financial hole drives the adoption of agentic AI software platforms like Bafmin, which are engineered explicitly to intercept and capture these missed leads. Plugging a $47,000 leak doesn't require the crew to work longer hours. It requires changing the mathematical equation of how the business intercepts demand. Handing your customer intake over to an automated system raises an obvious question. Can an AI actually replace a human dispatcher without alienating a local customer base built on trust? We can evaluate this with a comparison matrix of 3 intake options: voicemail, human receptionist, and the Bafmin AI agent. The Bafmin column shows its core advantage: capturing leads 24/7 and executing follow-ups and qualification in under 60 seconds. The immediate trade-off here is clear. Relying on software means losing the nuanced local empathy and reassurance that only a real human voice provides. That lack of human touch can create friction, particularly with older demographics, or callers dealing with an acute crisis, like water gushing from a burst pipe. However, when weighing the realistic alternatives, the data shows a clear preference. A panicked caller ultimately prefers an immediate, competent booking from an AI over leaving a message in a highly empathetic voicemail box. Beyond just answering the phone, the system actively filters out non-serious inquiries and tire kickers before they eat up a physical crew's schedule. From a pure efficiency standpoint, reliably capturing a high-value lead instantly offsets the initial social discomfort of lacking a live receptionist. The intake process is only the front half of the equation. We have to look at how this technology impacts the back-office mechanics of scheduling and dispatching. By utilizing smart scheduling, Bafmin eliminates double bookings, optimizes driving routes, and can recover up to 10 hours of administrative work per week. Cautionary: achieving this efficiency requires a massive operational trade-off. The business owner has to completely surrender control of their calendar to the software. It forces you to rigidly define job parameters, calculate precise travel times, and assign crew capabilities up front. The standard fly-by-the-seat-of-your-pants flexibility that many tradesmen rely on has to be stripped away. This rigid structure extends as the AI's scope expands into other custom administrative tasks, like firing off automated invoices or managing post-job reputation and reviews. Pushing all of these tasks through a single tech ecosystem introduces a systemic risk. If an integration breaks, it has the potential to temporarily stall your entire billing pipeline. Scaling your operations through agentic AI demands a very specific compromise. You are trading manual flexibility for rigid algorithmic trust. Is this level of software integration strictly necessary for every tradesperson, or is it expensive overkill for certain shops? We can map out the actual utility of this tool using this quadrant chart. The x-axis tracks a business's current administrative capacity, from a solo operator up to a dedicated team, while the y-axis tracks the total volume of lead flow. In the top left, we have the time-poor solo operator, categorized by a high need and high potential impact. For this segment, the temporary headache of learning to configure an AI is a highly favorable trade against repeatedly losing $2,400 jobs to voicemail. Conversely, down in the bottom right is the optimized fleet, representing operations where the potential impact is remarkably low. If your business already commands a fully staffed 24/7 human dispatch team, forcing an AI into the mix delivers very little return on investment and likely just disrupts a functioning system with redundant technology. Finally, in the top right, the tech-skeptical scaler sees moderate impact but faces extremely high operational friction when trying to adapt their existing habits to the software's strict rules. Agentic AI is not a universal solution. Its true value to a business is inversely proportional to the amount of manual administrative support that business already commands. At its core, the purpose of Bafmin within the home services sector centers entirely on operational risk mitigation. This technology operates as a specialized workflow replacement engineered specifically to bridge the 5-minute conversion cliff, rather than acting as a generic conversational chatbot. And that brings us back to the diagnostic metric we started with, the revenue leak score. You have to calculate your own missed call metrics realistically. You need to determine if the financial pain of your current uncaptured demand justifies the operational culture shock of adopting rigid AI scheduling. Implementing agentic AI in the trades serves a much narrower purpose than simple tech adoption. It exists to permanently seal the revenue leak and buy back the owner's time.